Hello AstonMTBers, first bike park weekend of the year at Viola St Grey in Italy. Been an absolutely awesome couple of days. Today's day 3. Tracks are running absolutely perfect. I've done loads of work over the winter. Really good condition, not too wet, not too dry, a lot of hero dirt around, and my hands are completely destroyed now. Too many runs. So yeah, Forbidden Supernought, it's been absolutely excellent so far. I want to give you a run down an easy green trail, partly because it's easier to talk, and secondly because my hands can't handle anymore. I'll give you a run down of the bike. Let's get onto the trail. It's actually my favourite track at Viola. The easiest one, the longest, but the most flowy. Absolutely awesome. Never ending corners. So first up, the geometry. Bought an S3 size. I should be riding the S4, but it was an ex-demo bike, and it's always impossible for me to sell on my test bikes as the sizing cuts down the amount of riders who are available to ride it. So geometry, S3 size, 466 reach, which is very small really compared to what I'm used to, around 500. There is an option to put angled cups in, but these are the standard cups. But I have been running a 50mm stem, so the riding space is actually pretty similar to my titanium bike and the other bikes I've been riding, with an 18mm stem. Head angles just below 63, spot on. And very long chainstay, which I like. I think it's 460mm. I'm not sure what it is at SAG, but probably 475s, 480 something. So very long, but great balance, I think, between the front and rear. Feels awesome. I'm not fighting to stay in the middle of the bike too much. BB height's a bit low. I just hit the bash guard there. I've already bent the bash guard actually, but let's chill out and work out what I'm saying. BB is low, especially running decent sag. A lot of people still like the low BB. I think BB should be higher in general. I've talked about this in a few other videos. Low BB, low to the ground, used to be excellent when we had little short bikes, steep head angles, small wheels, and you needed more stability. But nowadays, the bikes are long, we've got bigger wheels, the axles are higher, so I think it's good to have a longer BB, sorry, a higher BB. Just more ground clearance. It's not very nice when you hit the pedals or bang your feet. And I hate going through rock gardens tentatively thinking I'm going to hit my feet. So apart from the BB being a bit low for my liking, the geometry is spot on, and Forbidden do actually make some pretty drastic changes between sizes of their geometry. So regardless of what size you have, you should have a good balance. They actually change the chainstay length by quite a lot, not just like a nominal 5mm, like a lot of brands. Pedal strike again then. send it. Case that a bit and hit the chain guide again. So Kinematics, first up the anti-rise. I don't know what it is while I'm riding down here. It's around 100, it's lower than my other bike, and the anti-rise is absolutely perfect on this. Under braking, geometry is nice and stable. Also, there's no noticeable negatives through the bumps. Absolutely excellent. The only downside of that is you can start to get lazy and start braking too much in the bumps. But yeah, anti-rise, I'm gonna say perfect. I'm gonna say that's definitely better than on my single pivot bikes. Anti-squat also feels excellent. Pedals really well for a downhill bike, considering the heavy weight that idler requires. Yeah, pedals great. Leverage ratio, again on my other bikes, I've got a very linear ratio, which I think is good. There are some good parts of having progressive suspension, but overall I'd like this to be a bit less progressive. Again, don't know what the numbers are while I'm riding, but very progressive. And I find there's two main downsides to this. First one is it's hard to get the mid-stroke support that you need, which you need when pumping through stuff and hitting corners. I've got the RockShox Vivid coil shock, got 30% sag, but all the compression's closed, high and low speed, and it's just bogging through the middle of the travel. Can sort this out with the shock tune, but I think the main reason is that it's progressive, so in the start of the travel, the middle of the travel, it's well, yeah, you're sitting in the middle of the curve of the suspension, so a lot of the time when you want support in like the main portion of the stroke, you're not getting it, and then you're going bombing through the travel, and all the sort of shock absorption, or the most of the bump absorption, comes really near the end of the travel, and this does slow it down from bottoming out, which is what the progression's meant to do. But the downside of that is you get a lot of that force all getting put into your body as the suspension slows down really quickly at the end of the travel, pushes the force into your body rather than absorbing it by the shock, and this puts more force on your body, makes it less predictable if you're doing big jumps and stuff, or big drops to flat. And what's the other thing? Oh yeah, it sort of skyrockets you forward in some places, maybe when you don't want it. But that's it, progressive. I'd like to see it a bit less progressive. I'll probably give about half the current progression, and I think that'll be spot on. But yeah, that's just me. I think linear's better. Everyone likes the linear feeling coil fork rather than the progressive air springs. So yeah, I think linear's better. More mid-stroke support. You actually get less bottom out resistance, and you do need a well-tuned shock with plenty of compression damping. But it's better to have more of the force absorbed by the shock and not your body, rather than relying on the progression to ramp up the suspension at the end of the travel and try and control it that way. But it's still excellent. Ride's absolutely excellent. Small bump sensitivity is great. Bombs through stuff really well. Just a little bit little bit boggy in the mid-travel, hard to get a good balance between the front and rear to get the perfect sort of up and down at the same time. Front and rear moving in harmony. The frame, the carbon construction. I thought this bike was going to be really stiff compared to the other bike, but the carbon construction layer seems absolutely excellent. Definitely not too stiff. Definitely doesn't have the springiness of some carbon frames where the bike like flexes under load and then springs back. Really nice trail feel. I think Forbidden have done an excellent job on the layer and the frame shape. Tracks the ground really well, even off canvas. Again, no harshness. Also very quiet. There's a bit of noise at the moment from the front of the bike. The cables are rattling a lot, hoses, which I like to improve. This needs some Velcro. But the frame itself is very quiet. That's it. Forbidden Supernought. Overall, absolutely excellent. It's been a while since I've had a production downhill bike, but thinking back to the previous ones, Common Style Supreme, Canyon Sender, I think this is probably the best one actually. It's got the high pivot, the excellent high pivot system, which is awesome for going through bumps, but it's also got the good braking of a more neutral bike like the Sender or Banshee Legend, something like that. Carbon frame is absolutely excellent. I've had a lot of carbon frames in the past that I didn't really like, but this one's been excellent. Really good feeling, as I was just saying at the end of the trail. And yeah, no harshness, no noticeable vibration from the frame. Yeah, overall, excellent bike. Great attention to detail, which I'll talk about in another video. I've got the bump stops, the frame protection. Yeah, excellent package overall. Yeah, only a couple of things I don't really like too much are the lowish BB and the progressive suspension. Would be nice to get made or try some different dropouts, because you could actually jack up this bike using the replaceable dropouts. You could actually make them a bit higher and jack up the whole bike, and then maybe use an angle set or fork spacers, headset spacers to keep the geometry intact. So you might be able to lift up the whole thing. Could also do some work on the shock to smooth out a bit of that progression. You can go for a softer spring and run more preload is one way to sort of smooth out the progression curve. And you can also work on the shock tune. You can try to make a more, I never know which the word is, digressive or regressive tune on the shock, so it ramps up more at the slower speeds in the beginning of the stroke, and then the higher speeds sort of drops off, so you're not having so much resistance at the really high shaft speeds, which lets it go through the travel more easily. But yeah, overall, absolutely excellent, really like it. Unfortunately, it's going to go soon. It was a sort of short-term test bike. I just wanted to build up, put the parts from my other bike onto and give it a test ride something different, try a few different thoughts. I like to go back from the things that I convinced myself are the best, like linear, like a longer reach, like a higher BB, short stem, all those things, and yeah, go back to some more traditional things just to double check in my brain that I'm not going mental and getting fixed on one thing. But yeah, Forbidden Supernought overall, absolutely excellent. Definitely ride this. If someone told me this is the only bike you got for the rest of your life, I'd definitely ride it, no problems at all. Yeah, a little bit more tuning work, and yeah, I think it'd be absolutely excellent. So that's it, end of the review. Go and check out my current competitions, which allow you to win some awesome mountain bike products, and also support these independent reviews where I buy all the things that I like. I test them independently, I test them how I like, I test them for as long as I need to, and make the changes that I need. No marketing sponsorship bias. So awesome. Go and check out my website and keep following.